Hello YouTube, it's Forever Fanatic. Sorry I've been gone for a month. I've sort of been packing and trying to move. And now that I have moved, I can get back to making videos. Sorry, I'm going to talk a little bit fast in this video because last time I've recorded this, it's taken more than 15 minutes and I can't confirm my count for certain reasons, so I have to keep it to 15 minutes. Today I'm going to be talking about My Little Pony, or as you guessed from the title of this video, where was Celestia during episode 1 and 2? And was she pretending to be Nightmare Moon? The reason I came up with this idea is because I was rewatching My Little Pony because a friend got me into it again, and I noticed that certain things were exaggerated and didn't match up. So, starting from the beginning, and I mean the beginning of the show, not the 1,000 years, Twilight is reading what happened 1,000 years ago. And Celestia is narrating because she's the one who wrote it. She had to have been, she was the only one there. And Celestia exaggerates a few things. For example, Nightmare Moon never vowed that the night would last forever, and she also didn't refuse to lower the moon. She eclipsed the sun. She brought it up during day. Like, it's probably about midday because of how high the sun was. Also, she exaggerated her own part of it to make herself look better. For example, tried to reason with her, which really was only 1 or 2 sentences on it's your duty type thing, which will not make any bad character happy or any jealous person happy. It'll only enrage them. She didn't try to reason with her. She literally just said the bare minimum she could have. Also, she says that she was reluctant to use the elements of harmony, which if you watch that scene in season 4, you notice that as soon as she remembers they're there, she uses them. So, yeah. So she used the elements almost right away, or when she remembers them. And here's the thing. Celestia knew she couldn't use all the elements. She could not use them to their full power. So she knew that she couldn't reform her sister. But that's what gave her the idea to banish her to the moon. I know what you're thinking. Celestia didn't mean to banish her. Unless she did. Because Celestia knew she couldn't reform Luna. And she knew she couldn't keep her prisoner anywhere normal because Luna is too powerful for that. So she banished her to the moon for 1,000 years so that she could go on her little quest to find the real elements of harmony. 6 different ponies, not 2. Because we all saw how well that worked. As soon as one of them left, it was suddenly useless. She couldn't use the elements of harmony anymore. So she set out to find 6 different ponies. Where did she start? She started in the new capital. Canterlot. And she formed a school for unicorns. Which, this is important because from what we've seen, the only ones who can wield the element of magic are unicorns, the ones who have magic themselves. I'm not sure if this is confirmed that you have to be a magic user because it's the magic of friendship and all, but they are the only ones who have been shown to be able to wield it. So even if Celestia just thought this was how it worked, so she would still set up shop there. So she starts a school for gifted unicorns, and she starts having her own proteges, which we learn in the movie, because Sunset Shimmer shows up and was her previous protege. She teaches them everything she knows. Okay, so that's put in place. Now let's fast forward 900 years to when Granny Smith was a little filly. Granny Smith and her family, in one of the episodes, I think it was Family Appreciation Day, Granny Smith tells the story of how when she was a little filly, her and her family went to Canterlot, and Celestia suggested this wonderful place where they could set up shop and would have a great harvest. Well, here's the thing. It is fertile land because of the everfree forest. Things grow uncontrollably there. But look over here. Right under Cloudsdale, there's plenty of land right there. And it looks pretty green to me. Plus, the Pegasi there would be controlling the weather, right? So, why not there? Or over here. Plenty of green land. There's even a waterfall and a river. So, why not there? I mean, the Crystal Empire wasn't there. It would be near the colder side, but it doesn't look like there's any snow there right now. So those are two very viable options. Over here wouldn't be viable because, you know, it's desert land. But right here is right near the ruins. The apples are honest folk, and everyone can tell that. All of the apples have the spirit of honesty. So she basically sent the apples to where they would be needed in 100 years. I mean, it was getting close to the deadline. Now fast forward a little bit more. Twilight, her element of magic. It's getting close to the time for Nightmare Moon for the spell to wear off. Because, like I said, I don't think any ancient prophecy, I said in a previous take of this that Celestia is not a seer. She doesn't see the future. But since she created this spell, she would know when it wears off and how it wears off. So it's coming close to the end of the spell. And she sends her element of magic to go oversee the events of the summer sun celebration, and most of all focus on friends, since the sixth element only works with the part of magic and friendship. So she sent her to Ponyvillle, where she was most likely to meet the other six, and not only most likely to meet, guaranteed to meet, because Celestia visits Ponyvillle often, so she would know which ponies, and by often I mean annually because she's a princess type thing, she would know which ponies were which element. And in fact, she put them on the committee. Rarity, Generosity was on decorations, Fluttershy was on music, Applejack was on food, Rainbow Dash was on the clouds, etc. So she basically sent Twilight to meet the other six. I'm not sure where Pinkie Pie fits into this. I haven't thought that far. Sorry. I would like thoughts on that in the comments, though. So now to the day of. She's told Twilight over and over again, don't worry about it. Partly because she can keep Nightmare Moon at bay when she gets here if Twilight's not ready. So here's the thing. Celestia goes missing. And when Nightmare Moon returns, some of the first things she says are, did you not hear the legends? Did you not see the signs? Nightmare Moon would have no recollection of those because she wasn't there when they were written, because Celestia wrote them after she banished her. So that's one odd thing. The next odd thing is, the next thing she says, or actually that might have been before it, the night will last forever. Who does that sound like? You're right, Celestia. Celestia is the only one who's ever uttered words like that. Of course she was saying her sister said them. So, that out of the way, Nightmare Moon doesn't act like that, and she wouldn't know those things. And if you want to say that she could see all of the stuff that happened from the moon, she couldn't, because she didn't know that ponies didn't, or this princess still didn't talk like, really loud, and she didn't know certain things. Yeah. Sorry about that. Next thing I want to get into is, if Nightmare Moon had just come back, wouldn't she have ended up in the ruins? And let's say she did start in the ruins and made her way to Ponyvillle. Wouldn't it make sense to go to Canterlot first? Because that's a place that existed while she was still around. But no, she goes to Ponyvillle, this thing that wasn't founded until like 900 years later. Also, how did she know her sister would be there? The summer sun celebration didn't start until after she was banished because, they wanted to celebrate the rising of the sun because of Nightmare Moon type thing. So she couldn't have known about Ponyvillle. Okay, next we have the main six off to go to the ruins and find the elements. Each time, okay, in season 4, we see that Nightmare Moon attacks things head on. Every time she attacked Celestia, it was with a beam of magic straight at her, and she didn't stop until she hit her, which I don't know why she stopped, because she totally could have beaten Celestia. She didn't stop till she hit her. And yet, when 6 ponies are traveling through one of the most dangerous parts of Equestria, she sends little things, like little obscure things that may not even affect them, like scary trees, or a manticore, or mustache. She doesn't attack 6 ponies head on? I mean, they're all obviously weaker than her, so why wouldn't she do this? And I've watched later episodes, she still attacks things head on. She is still her, that's her fighting style. And yet in this, she didn't, because it was Celestia and she didn't want to hurt them. She just wanted to show Twilight that they were their elements. This can be proven later when Rainbow Dash. She was testing Rainbow Dash's loyalty instead of just attacking Rainbow Dash head on, which one pony alone, easy pickings. But no, she tested her loyalty instead. Why would Nightmare Moon do that? The answer is she wouldn't. Celestia would. So all of that aside, they get to the castle, and Twilight still thinks it's all about the stones and how she just needs one little spark to start them. When Nightmare Moon doesn't attack her head on, she just runs at her. And then Twilight zaps to the elements and tries to use them. And then you know what Celestia does? I mean Nightmare Moon, but Celestia as Nightmare Moon. She steals the elements so that, you know, maybe Twilight will think about it more, but doesn't. And then she breaks the elements because Twilight's still not getting it. And then when they rush to save her, she gets it. But in all of this time, Nightmare Moon could have just attacked her. I mean, that is her fighting style after all. But she didn't. Which still leads me to believe it wasn't Nightmare Moon. Okay, all of that aside, they come and they start using the elements. Mona knows how the elements work. So why is she calling them foals? It's because it's not Nightmare Moon. I'm sorry if I'm getting very repetitive in that fact, but yeah. Okay. So next they're powering up the elements, and I think this is where it stops being Celestia. I think Celestia swapped them at the last moment, and they reformed Nightmare Moon. Because right after that, do you know who appears? Celestia. Most people will say this is because Nightmare Moon no longer had power, but Celestia sort of comes out of the sun, which Celestia had to use the elements to get her sister in the moon. So, are you telling me that Luna somehow trapped her in the sun without them? Anyway, that's my theory, and I'd like to hear any comments you have on it. I know it's probably not accurate since My Little Pony never gets that deep. I just thought that there are a lot of plot holes that I need to fill. And it was really fun coming up with this theory. So, thanks, and bye.